Welcome to the weekly Forex forecast for the 21st of October. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. In this video, we're going to be talking about the DXY, talking about yen futures, Swiss franc futures, and all the trades that are trending for this week. I'll give you some targets, I'm going to give you some trading stops, and also going to talk about price cycles, which is an important part of trading. During my 30 years of trading, price cycles have been priceless. And understanding them will help you make more money more often. So we'll cover that in the next few minutes. Lots of things going on despite the markets being pretty quiet for the last couple of weeks. There are some trading opportunities not to be missed. So please pay attention, in particular with gold. Gold is highly profitable. You can make many hundreds of pips per day. I'll cover that in a minute. But first of all, let's go into the DXY 103.46, now hitting a ceiling, as you can see here, previous high from 17th of July, and now highly likely to pull back to 101.88. What this means is weaker dollar is the story of the week for this week, before it probably bounces again. Now, I mentioned this several times. We've seen weaker yen futures. Now, weaker yen futures usually means that the price of the yen pairs goes up. We've not really seen much of that going on, so I suspect what's happening here is that we're going to be seeing the price of the yen futures shoot up in the next few days. Here's a really important trending line here, if you can see this long-term trend line. And so I highly likely suspect that price is going to start moving up from 67.07 in the next few days and then heading for 72.54. What this means in terms of trading, this means we'll be looking to go short on all yen pairs in the next few days. Some big moves potentially coming up. In terms of the Swiss franc futures, the Swiss franc futures determines which way the Swiss pairs goes, of course, and we're seeing continued weakness into the Swiss futures market, and I suspect this price is going to come down to 11530 in the first few days, but we could see a bounce here and then bounce back up. But weaker Swiss franc is the order of the day. Mentioned this, and for members, VIP members, then hold on to the S&P 500. Looks like it wants to rally, and we have a very big target here of 62.65. We may see a pullback, but only time will tell. I don't think it will be a deep pullback. I think it will be a narrow one into the support line before it starts to move up again. Aussie 200 is now parabolic. Let's clarify this and quantify this. We can see first of all that all the buys are in on our Advanced Pro charts, and we see the oscillator is moving up above the 50. So that's important. So this indicates that there's going to be further upside momentum up to 8492. Yes, we may see a pullback. It often happens, but we're probably going to see something like this before it starts to move up again. Again, price cycles, which I'll cover in a minute, will be useful to you. The German DAX is also parabolic to the upside. We saw a pullback into the FVG in the last week or so, and it's bounced nicely off that. So congratulations to VIP members if you traded. Heading for 20,000. Well, 20,000 is good enough, isn't it? We can see that all the buys are in, and also the oscillator is confirmed. Always make sure that if you are buying into it, just make sure that the oscillator agrees with the trend. If you're selling, just make sure it agrees. If you're buying, just make sure it agrees. And also, if it's in neutral, then that's always very, very good. The Dow Jones Index, I've mentioned this several times during the videos in the last week or two. This is parabolic to the upside, and you should be in it. You could be waiting for a price to move back down to this FVG, which is going to be a fantastic trade, but it might not pull back that far. As you can see, there's a massive support line now on this area here. So any kind of price cycle to the downside, buy Dow Jones Index, heading for 45,173. Silver has gone parabolic. It's following gold basically, isn't it? You can see that in the number of buyers that come into the market now. So we do expect this price to go up and up and up and up. So we can do a quick There we go. So we now have a target of $36.62. But wait for a pullback. Again, we'll be talking about price cycles. I suspect the prices come down, head into support, and then head for $36.62. Could be a very nice move indeed. Gold has gone parabolic, as I mentioned in the VIP room. And don't forget that we are now trading gold live on YouTube. So for those people who want to join, then you are more than welcome. We'll be talking about high liquidity zone. We're talking about fair value gaps live in the market. So as we can see, the price has broken all the support areas and resistance areas. We have all the buyers in, and the oscillator is agreeing as well. So fantastic news. So I do expect a pullback. Be doing another video. Going close to the market in the next few minutes on this one, because we trade gold every day, make many hundreds of pips, especially if you've got the gold on steroid system. So I do expect the price to come down at some stage, probably down to 26.86, even 26.71, or even 26.54, or even 26.31, but it's not doing it yet. We'll have to wait and see. Now, one of the things we do, and I cover price cycles now actually, we can see that on the 4-hour chart, we can see that the price has change of character to the upside, all green, and the buyers are all in on the daily chart. But look at the price cycle here in terms of the 4-hour chart. The price cycle is far too high. So this indicates that on Monday we're going to see a pullback before it starts to move up again. Let me cover price cycles. So price cycles are very, very simple. Very, very simple. But please do not ignore these opportunities. So whenever the price has change of character to the downside, as the euro dollar did in the last week or two, gone sideways pretty much for the last week, but nonetheless, once you see that opportunity there, that's your entry to get in. If you miss that, then of course you can get on the price cycle and bank 2 to 1. So there's one there which you could have had. So that's a much better way to trade, isn't it? There's another one there. Let's do that. Let's get rid of that. That goes there. And then you have another one there. You have your stop above the previous swing high, and then you have 2 to 1 or 3 to 1, whatever you want. But here's the thing. Price cycles only happen twice. Price cycles only happen twice. Now, saying that, next thing you know, they happen 3 times or 4 times. But the safest entry is the first one. The safest entry is the second one. The third one is not so safe. So just bear that in mind. So price cycles are really important once you get into the charts and once you know what the top-down analysis is. So as we can see on the euro dollar, well, I'm here, might as well do it. That is the move on the daily. We had a lovely big fat sell signal, not on there now, but then all the sellers came in and have moved down. So that's 300 pips to there. Now, as we can see, the demand area sitting here very, very nicely gives us a possible trading opportunity in the next few days for members. The other thing to note here is this big long-term trend line, which is going up still on the long-term charts. So we could see a bounce in the euro dollar in the next few days. So there could be a trading opportunity there. So euro dollar, I think, is highly likely to bounce. This is definitely not a time to go going short, as you can see. This is not a time to be going short. Now remember that the DXY is hitting a major stumbling block here, highly likely to fall down. Weaker dollar means you're going to see a buying opportunity on the euro dollar and others at the same time. US Swiss, this is going well. We had some profits on this, fantastic. So this is a parabolic trend to the upside. All the buyers are in. Boom, 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 and the oscillator is pointing the right way as well, so it's a no-brainer above the blue line. So we do expect the price to continue up. Now here's the caveat. Of course, the dollar could be going weaker, which would drive the price of this down, but the Swiss franc is weak as well. So there's a combination of here. The stronger dollar and a weaker Swiss franc futures drives it up, and of course a weaker US dollar drives this down slightly. So we're probably going to see a trade at about 85, 89 on this FEG. So I would be looking to enter another trade possibly here if the price holds. Now we can see here on this long-term trend line, this is the trend line for the US Swiss. So we could see this change direction as quickly as I'm saying buy. It could easily be a change, and we could be looking at a target in the next few days of 84.05. So we have to have alternative conditions if the conditions change. But as far as we're concerned, all the buys are in. The oscillator is looking way overbought, but nonetheless a pullback would be very, very nice. US Canadian has been parabolic for the last week or two. If you've got into it, congratulations. Looks like you've made a lot of money, so well done. All the buyers are in. Oscillator is confirmed here, as you can see. Very, very nice indeed. And there's 300 pips there. Got to be 300 pips there. 262 pips there. Any kind of pullback down to here could be a trading opportunity as mentioned. However, we have to see where the DXY goes now. Congratulations on the US yen. Have done nice profits this week for VIP members. If you're not a VIP member, all the links are below. We can see now that the price is not hitting any kind of supply area. So this could continue up. But we can see that there's a long-term trend line here, which could drive the price down. So any kind of break into this area could drive the price into here. So that's the alternative if we do see a weaker dollar and a stronger yen. So weaker dollar, stronger yen, weaker dollar, stronger yen is going to see the price dive. Okay, so while we see that we do have a parabolic trend, there is a caveat. There always is, of course. The trend only lasts a little while. So in this instance, if you had this trade at the early start of this move, you got 698 pips. 698 pips if you've got the advanced pro charts. The pound New Zealand is trending to the upside as well. I've checked all the others and nothing else is trending. Excuse me. But we can see all the buyers are in and so on. So that the oscillator is looking very high, but nonetheless, it's probably going to continue up to 21,827. You can put your stop down here at 21,320. Just check your price cycle. Now we had a buy on the Aussie New Zealand. We held it for quite some time actually, didn't we? Down here somewhere. And now it's hitting a very important ceiling here. So if you are still holding on to this, then it might be a good idea to exit. We can see that some sellers have started coming in now. So it's not the best trade in the world. So I'm going to turn the Aussie New Zealand off and close for some nice profits. Now, the Aussie Swiss, I mentioned this in the last week or so. We did have a parabolic trend to the downside. It went all red, but now it's mixed. So I'm going to see on Monday. I think we'll probably be pulling out on this one purely because it's looking fairly mixed, and I think there's going to be better trading opportunities going on. Now I've marked the euro yen as potential trade. Now the reason for this is because I am looking for the yen futures to go strong. If the yen futures does go strong, then we are going to have a trade on the euro yen and also the pound yen as well. So there is a liquidity zone here, and so I do expect the price to come down to this area 156.82, 582 pips somewhere along there once we get the breakdown. But what I want to see is the price break this trend line here. You can see that blue line there, and then maybe bounce off that trend line there, and then we're going to have a nice big move down to this fair value gap here. It could go lower, of course, into the demand area, which is 154.89, but this looks really, really good to me. But the price has to play out. We have to see a change of character first before we look at that. And then also I want to see the yen futures go strong. Yen futures, just to remind you, is this. Remember, bouncing off this order, this trend line hopefully, and this trend line, and then starting to move up will give us a good reason to go short. Similar situation for the pound yen. As you can see, now hitting a very strong supply liquidity area, so we could see a grab here in the next few days, and that being the case, then I want to see this broken here. It's not going to take much to do that, as you can imagine. It could of course move up to this area, a bit higher here, and then do that, or it could just do that. Doesn't matter which way it goes to us. We're certainly not going to trade it until we see clear change of character and clear stronger yen futures. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Let's go into gold a minute. So gold, let's do this just quickly before you go and enjoy the football. Let's have a look. So the fair value gaps are really highly important for the gold on steroid system. So what we do, we wait for the price to come down into these areas, down into these areas, down into these areas, down into these areas, and once they hit them, then we're looking to buy. Now we have massive divergence in the market, so I do expect the price to pull back on Monday. So this is a trading opportunity potentially. So any pullback into this area here, 27.10, is highly likely to see a bounce. But we can trade this. We can trade the shorts as well. So any kind of breakdown here is going to give us 109 pips or so. But of course, with the FVG, we can use this information to actually trade off these. They're not support areas, but there's price of interest areas, POI areas where we may look at liquidity. But of course, Monday morning, we know there's very little liquidity in the markets. So you're more than likely to see the price fall off rather than rally. It would probably go to our target of 27.25 overnight before we see a nice pullback and we can grab a couple of hundred pips during the day. Now, don't forget, we are going live now with the gold on steroid system on YouTube. So if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, every time we go live, you'll get an email to confirm that we are going live. Useful, and hopefully you will learn a lot from that. Have a great weekend.